Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Word. All right, how's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. Started a little bit late today. I didn't mean to start this late, but I had some stuff to do earlier. Also, I woke up kind of late, but I always do that, so. But I did want to stream at different times of the day, so streaming late is not too bad. Might give some people on the other side of the world more of an opportunity to watch. I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little bit sleep deprived, I guess. Like, I'm not sleepy right now, but just this weekend, I don't know, I've been like really busy lately, and like it's just a lot been going on. Also, I hung out with a friend Saturday night and kind of drank a lot, like more than I intended to. So yesterday, I wasn't like super hungover, but it was pretty groggy all day yesterday, which makes it kind of hard to sleep also. But I'm good. And just in alongside all that, I just had a lot of stuff to do. A lot of work. I've been trying to like be more productive and stuff. So yeah. It's kind of disappointing that I'm never actually eating a sundae. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could I could do that sometimes, but I honestly don't even know where to get a sundae. And that would require me buying a lot of sundaes. I wonder if someone will deliver me a sundae, but it seems like it would probably melt on the way here, huh? Yeah, I literally just heard about Michael Brooks like 10 minutes ago. It sucks. But if I remember, because I mean, so many people comment on that. Like, I never thought that that would be as big of a deal as it seems to be to people. No, when I say work, I mean working on YouTube and internet stuff. That's what I mean by work. As you can see, I'm constantly trying out new things on the stream. I've got some lights, some colorful lights in the back. Well, there's one color, but that's something that a lot of Twitch streamers do, so I just wanted to try it out. And I kind of like it. I can change the colors and stuff too, but I feel like blue and green and purple are the best colors because I think it makes me pop out more, especially since I'm wearing a red shirt right now. Maybe I'll change it depending on what color shirt. Also, I kind of changed how the chat looks on the screen. I think it's a little bit better. It's a little bit less distracting. I mean, there's no disrespect, but I was just clarifying what I meant. I think that maybe a lot of people. I mean, well, it's not true. I wasn't gonna say that it doesn't feel like work, but sometimes it does feel like work. But I mean, I do have, among the coolest jobs of all time. So, but I can see how maybe some people don't think that that counts as work, but it definitely is. It's a lot of work actually, but I enjoy it. I love it, so it's fine. Yeah, the stream will continue to evolve, especially now that I'm trying to do it consistently again. But I'll eventually land on something that I like. Like I think this is pretty good at the moment. I'm not sure what else I would add. I might mess around with the colors and stuff. I've seen some streams have like two colors, like maybe like blue on this side and then like red or something on that side. I don't know if I need to do all that, but we'll see. I don't know why, but YouTube streams are much easier on my bandwidth. I can barely watch Twitch streams without constant buffering. Yeah, I don't know. You would think that Twitch would have their streams optimized more. Also, probably Twitch streamers are they're streaming at much higher bit rate. I mean, they definitely are, but they stream at higher bit rates and higher frame rates. So that's probably why. Like they just stream with higher because they're playing games and they want it to look good. I don't need to stream at super high bit rate just for you to be able to see my face. Although, I've been working on trying to figure out how to make it look clear, which I think means I just need to increase the bit rate. But it doesn't have to be amazing, just to look at my face. But if you're trying to play, some game at 60 frames per second, you want it to be crisp, you have to put extra demand on people's internet connections. Yeah, I don't have anything super planned for the stream. Sometimes something will naturally pop up and then I'll just go on about it for like 20 minutes. But for now, I'm just interacting with the chat. I didn't really have time to plan anything because I've been kind of preoccupied for the past week. Streamers usually have those gamer LEDs all over the room. Yeah, sometimes they have those LED strips and things like that. I don't think I want that. I just wanted like a background ambiance. I don't want there to be like visual light bulbs and strips in the background. Yeah, you can super chat indeed. If you look at the description of the video, there's like all the information about all that stuff that you can do. Yeah, my streams are very chill and calm. Not one of those streamers that's yelling and screaming and stuff. I don't have the energy for all that. Would I consider green screening? I don't think so. At least not. Maybe like when I'm gaming, which I do plan to do some gaming on the stream every now and then, but not just for this, just chatting stream. But yeah, all the super chat just highlights your message and puts it in the chat, and it stays in the chat, or it stays like highlighted above the chat for a long time, and it longer depending on how much you pay for the super chat. But yeah, all that is explained in the description below the video. Empress Mermaid, thank you for the $5 super chat. Okay, then I'm super chatting. Hello, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Thank you. Also, because my stream is not that big yet, I can usually read or answer most of the questions or respond to most of the comments. Like I'd say maybe like 80%, 80 to 90% of them. That percentage will lower as the stream grows, but for now that's how it is. But if you use your super chat, then I will 100% answer and respond to 100% of the super chats because they're highlighted. They are impossible to miss, basically. So if you if you just absolutely must be responded to, that's the best way to make that happen. Also, same goes for tips, which are a little bit different. But they are both ways to support me and to support the channel. What's up, Lucas? What do I think about Michael Brooks? I don't know. He seemed like a pretty smart guy. He's pretty funny. I didn't really keep up with him that much, so I don't know that much about him. I don't know if I don't think I'm gonna play Warzone, but I don't. Who knows? I just bought. I don't know. I might play like GTA 5 or I don't know. I don't think I'll play. Maybe I'll play League of Legends, but like fighting games and stuff. World of Warcraft. I played World of Warcraft on stream the other day. I'm probably gonna play a lot of chess. So I don't know. I think it's just like my idea is just gonna be like a variety stream, just kind of whatever I'm feeling the day. I think the main feature is just gonna be interacting with chat, regardless of what I'm actually doing. But I do want it to be, you know, a variety of things, just so I can express some things that I'm interested in outside of like political and social issues. And I don't know, just kind of have fun on stream. Am I mostly PC or do you have a console for exclusives? The only console that I have is a Nintendo Switch. But on the stream, I'll almost certainly be 99% PC games. Maybe I'll play like Animal Crossing or Smash Brothers or something, but that's about it. I do intend to get a PS5 when that comes out, so maybe that'll change, but I don't really super follow up with like all of the new games that come out. So best wishes from New Zealand. Thanks for the relaxing streams. Appreciate it. Thank you for showing up. What's up, Lau? Which videos did you find the most interesting to make in the last few months or so? I don't know. People always ask that or ask some form of that question, like what's my favorite video that I've made and things of that nature. And it's hard to really say. I always say that my favorite video is generally the most recent one that I've made. just because it's the newest and freshest. So it's hard to, I don't know if I have like a favorite or most interesting one. I did not play Last of Us Part 2 because well, I guess it's on PC, but I don't have any other console. I don't really, I'm usually not super interested in like the AAA games with rare exceptions. I play like indie games and old games and genre games like fighting games and stuff. Whoops. Izzy Bear Barrett, thank you for the $5. I would love to hear your thoughts about the white woman who was protesting in Portland naked in front of the police. Sorry if this isn't the vibe. I don't think I know about that. I've been like pretty busy lately, so I've not kept up with news at all. Yeah, I didn't know about this. But I don't know, like, what do I think about it? I don't know. It seems like in these times where they like to shoot rubber bullets at people and stuff, that seems like making yourself a little more vulnerable than you could have been otherwise. But other than that, it's like a demonstration, right? Like, what's the problem? Whoops. It's definitely provocative, but I mean, it's also free expression, right? Who's my main in Mortal Kombat? Kung Lao. I haven't played that much of it though, but generally Kung Lao. But I don't think I've really played enough to have a real main, because I actually don't own MKX, but I definitely play Kung Lao and MK9, MK 10. But I don't own MK11, so I've only played a little bit of it. But I just always liked Kung Lao because he was like really good in MK9, and then I just kept playing him. I live in Portland, and it's a hot topic right now. Interesting. I don't understand why it's a hot topic. I mean, it's like a naked person, but which I guess is interesting to people, but yeah, I don't know. Have you ever played Bug Fables? It's like Paper Mario and it's on Steam if you don't have a console. I have not played Bug Fables. Maybe that's the point. We have a naked bike ride here in the UK to highlight the vulnerability of cyclists on the road. Maybe that is the point. I don't know. I just found one article and just skimmed through it, so I don't think I have all the details, but I don't know if there's many details to get other than the obvious. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely interesting. I don't know if there's much to say about it though. Thoughts on the Patriot Act with Hassan Minhaj, or Hassan Minhaj, if I say it to say it more correctly. Other center left political comedy shows. I mean, the ones I can think of, I generally have a favorable opinion of. I love the Patriot Act. I think it's really good. Mainly, I just love Hassan Minhaj because he's just funny. He's also kind of like this is kind of irrelevant, but I really like his style, like his fashion, and he like inspires me in a fashion sense. But anyway, he's just funny. I like his show a lot. I assume you're just talking about other shows like what's it called? Last Weekend Tonight or something like that. Like that show's really good. The Daily Show is good. I notice your sub goal is a cooking stream. What recipes are you thinking of making? Well, I know that the first thing that I'm thinking of making is fried rice. It's just because it's literally one of my favorite things to eat, and I've been like practicing making it, and I think I'm okay at making it. The only problem with that is it doesn't take that long to make, so I would have to probably make some other things to make it so that the stream is not only like 20 minutes long. But I know I want to make that. I'm not like amazing at cooking, but I like to cook, so I figured it'd be a good incentive for the stream. Lots of people were pissed that she was able to do it safely. I mean, is the idea that she was naked, do people think that should make it more likely for her to get hurt? Because lots of people demonstrate and protest safely. I didn't see the interview with Brett Weinstein. I mean, maybe there's something specific going on in Portland. I don't know exactly what the situation is. Do I use a wok? I haven't before, but maybe I'll buy one for the stream if we meet the goal. I just use a nonstick pan, which I think is fine. Works perfect. The only thing is I don't have like a very large nonstick pan, so I can only make a little bit at a time. And I live with two of my brothers, so I often have to make enough for all of us. So it would be good to have a wok because they're big. As an outsider, I think it's weird as hell that cities with liberal vibes like Seattle and Portland have such violent police. Just compared to someone who's a POC, the circumstances would have been different. Well, I mean, wasn't there a video almost exactly like that with a black lady twerking in front of a row of police, and she did it safely? Granted, she wasn't completely naked, but she was definitely very vulnerable and like very close to naked. But like I said, it could just be the city that you're in. Different cities might have different, the police might react differently. How many brothers and sisters do I have? I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. Hi from Australia. Quick question. Have you heard of the game Outer Wilds? I don't think so. Nope. Wait, have I heard of this? No, I don't think I've heard of this. I thought it was something else at first. It looks cool, or at least the art style's cute. I heard about protesters being whisked off by non-badge police officers, if that's what you want to call them. Yeah, I mean, I've been really out of the loop for a lot of this stuff lately because I've been really busy doing stuff. I just, and honestly, like, for sometimes I'm happy to not look at the news because it's like often like depressing, but what do you think about people saying ACAB, all cops are bastards? I don't know. I feel like saying all cops are. I think the problem with a lot of these terms is there's a mix of people. There are people who say it because they think that it's actually like, strategically expedient. And then there are people who say it just because they want to be hateful and shitty to people. And if you know anything about me or anything about my content, I don't support anything that is hateful or without compassion. I think sometimes you need to be stern and straightforward and assertive, but I don't think you ever have to be hateful. So the problem is you have like 2 groups of people that use these terms like that. And a lot of times you kind of, the 2 groups get conflated with each other. But I'm not here to defend the police. But I do think that police officers are complex human beings, and probably most of them are decently fine people. So the idea that all cops are bastards is like, it's obviously not true, literally. But I don't think I think it puts too much focus on individuals, which I don't think is the problem at all. I think the problem is more systemic, so I don't really like the idea of placing emphasis on individuals. What do I think about what is the BCC? Yeah, I was thinking about making shrimp fried rice specifically, because that is my favorite type of fried rice. I mean, usually I can catch like all of the main news items just by being on social media, like just by opening up Facebook or Twitter to a lesser extent, because I don't read Twitter like at all that much anymore. But it's hard to miss a lot of the super trending stuff. But just the last couple of weeks, I've been just busy, just working on YouTube stuff. Like I just put out a video the other day, and I'm working on another one that's coming out in a couple of days. And then, I've got my D&D game that I have to It's basically another part-time job, just running the D&D game that I don't get paid for. I got to figure out a way to monetize D&D. That's like the next step. And then, you know, just you know, living life. I just haven't been keeping up. Yeah, just think it. I mean, like I said, there are people who use that term in a nuanced way like that, and then there are people who don't. I think the term itself is imprecise. Like, if the term is not about individuals, then it shouldn't be. It shouldn't say that. It shouldn't say all cops, implying all individual cops. I don't know how else you interpret that. So if that's what it means, then it's just a bad term. But the idea, also there's the idea, which I guess is a fair argument you can bring up, the idea that if you decide to become a cop, you have done something immoral, which I don't agree with, but I can understand why people make that argument. But then there are just people who just literally just want to be shitty and want to show hate towards people who choose to be cops, and who either literally think that they're all bad people and they all are out to hurt people, or who just don't care about thinking of them as complex humans, and just want to sort of otherize them into this villainous class. And that's the part that I just completely oppose. And I also think a lot of people talk about cops, even though they have no education or experience about cops, or what it actually means to be a cop in the day-to-day, everyday life, or what they actually do in their day-to-day life. So that happens as well. And I'm not saying I'm the expert on that either, but you know, I know a lot of people who are cops personally, and I've met different types of cops throughout my life, and I know that different cities run their police system in different ways. So I'll be down to do a vid on all cops are bad. I don't know if I have enough to say to fill up a full video. I also think it'll probably be a controversial video, which I don't necessarily shy away from things because they're controversial, but there are certain things that I think that people are like unwilling to unwilling to be challenged about, and that can just result in just a lot of hate thrown at you for even bringing it up. I don't know if this is necessarily that, but I think it could potentially be that, and I don't feel like dealing with that kind of stuff really. And it kind of sucks, you know, like I generally don't want my content to be sort of held back because of what I fear the reaction might be, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna like intentionally bring stress upon myself. I don't know if that would happen, but it could. My understanding of Ace, how do people say ACAB or ACAB, or how do you say it without like saying the whole thing? I don't even know. I think ACAB. Is that a good cop still has to enforce bad laws, such as laws regarding marijuana possession, and judges having to uphold mandatory minimums? It's yeah, to some extent, but this is what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people kind of just say things without really knowing what's going on, because in many cities cops can kind of do whatever they want, and in many cities cops can choose not to criminalize marijuana, for example. Like, yo, there's some of these cities, especially like suburbs and stuff, these kids are always fucking up. They're always smoking, and the cops just kind of, you know, tell them to go home or whatever. You know, there's like, you know, you know what I mean. Like, it's not like in some, it depends on the city, but in some cities it's not like the police chief is like holding a gun to the cop's head and is like, you better arrest every single person that you find with weed on them. Like, in my experience, a lot of cops can kind of just do whatever they want, including being lenient to people, even if they are technically breaking the law. Yeah, I live in Alabama. But there are, like, obviously there are situations, as we've seen, where the cops are pressured to do these things, and like at risk of losing their job if they don't. So that exists, but the idea that every police precinct is like that, I think, is wrong. And also, like, I think this is something that, like, progressives and the left does on purpose, and I'm not sure if it's good. Like we've had conversations about optics before, and I don't know how I feel about that, um because, you know, like, the truth and justice should matter more than optics. However, the left, I think, intentionally chooses the most like provocative and offensive way to say everything. Like, most of the time, that's kind of how left activism works. They choose the term that's the most provocative, and maybe that's good for strategy because it gets people talking about it. We're talking about this right now. It gets people arguing. It gets people's attention. So maybe that's good. But the problem is, it also makes people much. It puts people on their guard immediately. It makes them less willing to meet you in the middle, because you've already, before they even know what you're talking about, you've already set them off. So I don't know whether that's good or bad in the long run. Yeah, I saw the most recent police episode of Last Weekend Tonight, I think. Well, I don't know if everyone does it, but if everyone does something, that doesn't mean that it's what should be done. That's not really a justification for doing something. But and that's what I'm saying. It's like a half and half thing, because maybe people do it because it's strategically useful, but I also think people do it just because it's an emotional response, and they're angry and they want to be mean. They want to say something mean. And I can say, if that's what's happening, that's never going to work. That's never going to convince everybody or convince anybody. But I don't, I don't know what the percentage is on that. I don't want to be cynical. I do think I do think a lot of that is what's happening, because a lot of times you talk to people and it's very clear that they haven't really thought that much about the thing that they're saying. They just are upset and they just want to say something provocative. But, like I said, maybe it's useful. I think that you can make an argument for that. But that's never been my personal strategy. So I'm not saying that I have all of the answers. In fact, I don't. For sure, I don't. But I know what I personally value and how I would personally go about things. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think abolish the police. Abolish the police is enough. Wow, I can't talk. Abolish the police. Abolish the police is also very provocative. But I know that there are people that literally want to do that. So if that's the literal thing you want to do, then that's the thing that you should say you want to do. So you can't really argue with that, even though it is provocative. It's literally the idea being presented. I've talked about how defund the police. I feel like that can be confusing, because it like, I know you want like a short, snappy, catchphrase or whatever, buzzword, but it doesn't really explain the whole thing. And again, I think it can set people off before they even decide if they're going to listen to you or not. Because it just sort of implies, hey, we're just going to cut funding for the police and that's it. But obviously there's more to it after that. So, the history of policing originates in slave recovery and protecting the rich properties. Yeah, I mean, there some aspect of the police system and law enforcement is based on that, for sure. Yeah. The idea that that's the entire system of police is based on that, I don't think is true, but that's definitely a part of it. Well, it depends on what you. It depends on what you mean by abolish the police. If the argument is that there is no need for law enforcement and no need for peacekeeping, then I don't agree with that. But it's possible that you could get rid of what we think of as the police and replace it with other types of organizations devoted to very specific things. And that seems fine to me. But to me, that's just the police, except in a different form and with a different name. So I wouldn't literally say abolish the police. I would just say we need to overhaul the police and change what it is we think of when we say the word police. Lover Sonar McGee, hey dude, just discovered you. I'm liking so far. I appreciate that. Thank you. What really needs to be done can't truly be reduced to a hashtag. I agree. And that's why I generally I don't like using them, and I wish people didn't use them. unless they're just very, very simple. 'Cause sometimes I guess they're simple, but usually they're not. But I don't know. I don't like. I mean, maybe that's the only way you can get the message out is by creating these snappy little hashtags and just screaming them over and over again. I don't know. It doesn't. I'm not comfortable with that form of communication, but I'm also. Well, I was gonna say like I'm lucky in that if I have an idea, I have sort of a platform to express the idea in a more complex way. But I didn't always have a platform. I just always strive to try to explain things in a certain way. The police are extremely resistant to change, so we have to start from scratch. I agree, we have to start from scratch. I don't think that's the same thing as abolishing the police, though. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if we like. I just think we need to. It just needs to be changed very, very drastically. I don't know if it's like we need to erase everything that we have and then start over. I don't know if. I don't know if society can handle that sort of shock. I don't know. I don't know if that's the correct way to say it, but. Yeah, I mean, the social media algorithm culture, I think, is a large part of why a lot of this even happens, for sure. Um, I know I just really think our discourse, but we might be just far too gone. But the discourse has just kind of been poisoned by social media, in my opinion, because social media just rewards the most. The social media, like I'm complaining about things being provocative and emotional, but that social media rewards the most provocative and emotional things. So that's a large part of why any of this even happens. And maybe the discourse has just been poisoned so much that we can't reverse it anymore. But I feel like, I mean, I have a moderate to small level of success, and I very intent like my whole it's basically become a catchphrase for me now is that everything is fucking complicated. And there are people, I feel like I've proven that there are people that are receptive to that and that are willing to engage with things in a complex way. Maybe it's a minority of people, I don't know. But that's what I'll strive towards. Um and I try to avoid very like generalized labels and hashtags, as any of you know if you've been around for a little while. I just discovered you yesterday and really liked your content. Your format of having it be in conversation that you're exploring helps understanding your view. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of new subscribers and followers and supporters and stuff. It's been going pretty well. Um, YouTube decided to bless me with some algorithm love, and again, I mean, YouTube isn't quite as bad as Twitter and Facebook on this, but YouTube is proving that people are interested in this kind of stuff, and it doesn't have to be things that spark outrage. or at least I hope I'm not sparking outrage. I know that sometimes the things I talk about can be pretty like frustrating or controversial maybe, but I never want people to feel mad or sad after watching my videos. If I can make people feel optimistic at the end of the day, that would be the goal. I know that's maybe not always possible, but I definitely don't want people to feel mad or outraged or sad or hopeless after watching my videos, because that happens to me sometimes. I get even some people that I like I mentioned you know, the channel Some More News, presented by what's his name, Cody Johnston. It's a great channel. I think it's like one of the best political channels on YouTube, but the problem is I'm almost always mad at the end of the video. And listen, being mad is not necessarily a bad thing. I think that anger can lead to productive consequences, and it can inspire you to take action that needs to be taken. However, I don't want to be the guy that's making you mad. And I don't really generally want to be mad. That's not how I operate. That's not what inspires me. It might inspire other people. But whenever I watch his videos, I'm just mad at the end. You're just mad at like all this shittiness in the world. And I don't want people to feel that way. AI reference is fucking complicated today. Yeah. I've heard white people shouldn't raise their fists in solidarity because it has been used by white supremacists. What do you think? I don't know that much about it being used by white supremacists, but as far as I know, most people are fine with white people raising their fists, and it seems fine to me. Take away the police and their tanks, add better social service, mental health service, unarmed community support officers, small specialized armed response units, schools, and youth services. Yeah, I just think that a good, like most of the things that police are tasked with doing, they're not trained for and they're not suitable for. So that's why I understand defund the police, but it doesn't recognize that the funds that we take away then has to be reallocated in those other things. And then we have to decide what the role of the police themselves, which I think is basically peacekeeping. I think that's kind of the only thing we need them for, which even that is pretty nebulous, because what could be described as peacekeeping might be better suited for like a social service person or health service person. So, but like, you know, if there's like, you know, if a bunch of people get into a brawl in the middle of the street or something, maybe there should be someone that comes and breaks that up, you know? You very effectively de-escalate my anger on a lot of issues. Well, that's good. That's exactly what I want to do. Sometimes mad is good, otherwise might be apathy. I think sometimes mad is good. I just don't want my videos to make you mad. That's just my thing. And I personally don't want to be mad. It's just unpleasant to me, and it's stressful. And I think it has a negative effect on my overall well-being. But for other people, it makes them more productive. Videos that make someone mad get more clicks. I agree. I've had opportunities to do that, and I mean, in the past, I think that I've not always been perfect at the thing that I say that I'm trying to do, especially in the past. But I've had opportunity. Like, I could have gone down this road of making just really cynical, dramatic content. Like that kind of stuff dominated political YouTube a few years ago, and a lot of people got built very good audiences by just talking shit about people and trying to make people mad and trying to like pit people against each other, that sort of thing. And I very easily could have done that, but it's just not my thing. It's not my values. I need to get I need to get a little mini tripod for my camera. It's just like sitting on top of like a little box right now, but like every time I move the camera shakes. I need like something a little more sturdy or stable, I guess. Speaking of channeling anger, what are your recommendations on direct action? Well, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, both direct and indirect. Like, I think people underestimate the benefit of literally just donating money. Like, that's like one of the absolute best things you can do. Just make sure you find a good organization and just donate money as much as you can. But I know not everybody can do that. But yeah, voting I think is very important. Go vote. A lot of people downplay the efficacy of protests, rallies, and demonstrations, but I think this we've proven, this Black Lives Matter movement has proven that they work and they actually are effective. Call your officials. They say that you should call, not write, but you can write, but they say calling is more effective. And every politician says that calling them actually is effective, and it makes them have to seriously consider what they're being called about. You can get involved in your local scene, your local political scene. You can show up to city council meetings. You can directly appeal to your council members. You can go work in the office of one of your local politicians or a more national politician, like a local office for that politician. You can run for city council. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. Thoughts on the passing of Michael Brooks? I mean, it's sad. I didn't follow him that closely, but he did seem to be like a pretty intelligent guy, and I've seen a few conversations with him where it seemed just seemed to have some very interesting things to say. Also, he's pretty funny some of the time. Yeah, I mean, it's sad that he's passed. I don't really have anything negative to say about him. I feel like it's too early to say this movement has been effective. Well, I mean, it definitely has. There, I mean, I feel like you're probably thinking of a pretty narrow definition of effective, because I think getting anything done is an example of something being effective. Progressing, like if something progresses, if something gets better than it was before, then that's effective. Simply starting the conversation, I would call it effective. In fact, I think that's the primary purpose of protests and rallies, is to start the conversation. And it has definitely done that. But we're seeing actual like legislation being passed and being proposed. You know, people are saying, you know, like certain cities are actually like legitimately, seriously proposing defunding and abolishing their police force and reallocating their funds in different ways. So things like that. Obviously, it's not perfect, but I don't know how you could argue that it hasn't been effective. I don't. If it has to like fix everything and change the world overnight in order for it to be effective, that's like too narrow of a definition, I think. If you told me when I was a kid in the 80s that I'd be watching a live video on a tablet in my hands during a pandemic and a chaotic government, I would have been so impressed. You would have been impressed? I feel like the tablet part is the only interesting thing about that, or the only impressive thing about that. And another thing that you can do if you don't find yourself doing all the other things is just educate yourself, learn more about what's going on. It's not that hard to do either. I fear that a lot like with Occupy Wall Street, very little structural material change is going to come out of this movement. Well, I don't remember if, because I want to say that certain things got achieved from Occupy Wall Street, but I can't really confirm it at the moment. But again, if you only get the conversation started, I think that that's a win. And for example, if Occupy Wall Street didn't happen, you could argue that the stage would not have been set for the rise of Bernie Sanders, for example. And the rise of Bernie Sanders has, in and of itself, I would argue, moved the Democratic Party to the left on a lot of things. So a lot of times it's not a very direct overnight fix, but you can get things rolling. What to do about escalating fascism? Provide better ideas and also vote. Is there a way to reply to someone tagging them in YouTube on phone? I actually don't know. I think YouTube on mobile is kind of annoying. I don't like to use it. I think you can though. I feel like people have done it. You might have to do it manually. You might have to type at and then write their name. I don't know if that auto tags them though, but you can try it. I don't feel like the police should be completely defunded. I don't think the police should be completely defunded either, but I do think that most of the things that they're tasked to do, they probably should leave to other groups that are more trained. And so a percentage of that funding can go to that instead. Is this on Twitch? Also, I feel like I'm missing comments. It is not on Twitch. However, if you go to the top, you can switch from top chat to live chat. And top chat is kind of a more filtered view of the chat. Live chat, I think mainly live chat or top chat filters out comments which might be perceived as offensive or something like that. But if it's on live chat, it should be every comment should show up. If not, I don't know what's going on. Do you think if Trump gets reelected in the U.S., the U.S. will turn to Nazi Germany? Also, how many people do you think will leave? I don't expect too many people to leave, although I do think I have been seeing people a lot more serious about leaving the United States. But it's something that is much easier said than done, so I don't expect it in large numbers. I don't think the U.S. will turn to Nazi Germany, but it could definitely embolden Trump to go even further than he already has in his overreaches of power. I'm interested to see. I'm interested if there is any level at which Trump supporters would ever like turn on him or lose their support for him. I'm not sure what he would have to do in order for that to happen. But yeah, I mean, I think there's just too many systems in place that would prevent a single person from like becoming like a totalitarian dictator in America. I don't think it really can happen. I mean, you can get away with a lot of bullshit, but I don't think you can get away with that specifically. I suppose if the Republican Party continues to sort of blindly and unflaggingly support him, and the Republican Party starts to win a bunch of Democratic elections across the globe, and then the Republican Party as a whole backs him as he transforms the country into a fascist state, maybe that could happen. But again, that's a lot of steps, and I think that a lot of Republicans are, I mean, I don't think that they are specifically interested in that happening. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I just don't know how to predict anything with Trump, really. That's what I've realized. I love the recent cancel culture video. Thank you very much. Nuance is important. I agree. Are any countries letting many US people in right now? Well, it's hard to travel anywhere right now because of COVID. And even outside of the current state of the United States, it's hard to move to countries most of the time. Like, they won't just let you in just because you want to go. I don't think any country does that. Maybe some. I'm sure there's maybe some, but there's a lot of shit. Like, a lot of countries, like, you have to have a specific reason that you want to move there. Like, you got a job there or something. Also, if you are like in debt or broke, or they probably won't let you in. Most countries won't. So it's hard to just move to another country without a very specific reason. What camera do you use? I have an old Canon Rebel T3i. I've actually recently been looking in upgrading my camera. I've got to do more research on that. But I've been using this camera for maybe like 5 years. This is like when YouTubers first started like taking YouTube seriously as a career. This was like the first like YouTuber camera that people got, like the first like DSLR camera with, you know, that you could get the shallow depth of field, which that was like, that was how you knew that the YouTuber was a professional, if they had like a camera that could blur the background. And this was like basically like the first really popular one, I think, or the first really popular like DSLR type camera. Depends on the Trump supporter, I suppose, but I think some amount have turned away from him just due to COVID. Super anecdotal, but my dad went from a Trumper to not over just that issue. Yeah, I mean, I think that it seems to me that Trump gets less and less popular, like slowly over time. But there are just some people that it just does not matter what he does. They just, I don't know, it's weird. But you know, I guess I don't know. I mean, maybe these examples that you're giving are people who you would once think are those people where you say it doesn't matter. But I feel like when you start messing with things that are directly affecting people, that's when you kind of have to, you can't ignore it, you know? Like if you know someone, which these days a lot, you know, more than 50% of Americans probably know someone who has gotten COVID, if not died from COVID. And if you know that our government could have responded to this quicker and better, it's hard to ignore that. It's like, well, that was the sort of the thing with healthcare. It wasn't a specifically Trump thing, but Trump did urge, like one of his big things was repealing Obamacare, but people started realizing, oh shit, that's my actual healthcare, and they're trying to take it away from me without really offering me an alternative. Like you can't really like it. Even if you're like a hardcore conservative, when people start fucking with stuff that actually very directly affects you, it's, I don't know. I think that's what makes you start to think a little bit. Need an IMAX cam. I think I'm gonna buy a wider angle lens, because the angle on this is not very wide. Although I don't know if I need to show off more of my room. Not that there's anything to show off, but I also think that people are really hesitant to admit that they're wrong about something. So when you like go all in on Trump or anything like that, or any person, it can take a lot for you to admit that you made the wrong choice. No one wants to admit that they were wrong about something. I want to major in psychology next year in college. Do I have any insight on the subject? On psychology, no, not psychology specifically. I've never taken any. I took like an intro to psychology class in college. It was interesting, but the only thing that I can say about college is make sure you know what you want to study for sure, because college is a very transformative, college age is a very transformative age range. And in my experience, for me and a lot of people I know, you grow a lot in college and you evolve in college, and the thing that you thought you were into, you might not be, or you might stop being into, and you might get into something later. So I would say make sure you just keep your options open. But if you're just 100% sure that's what you want to do, then go for it. Like, you know, my roommate in college, he knew from like 11th grade that he was going to be an engineer, and he majored in engineering, went to school for four or 5 years, and then became an engineer. And he's still an engineer, and he loves his job. He takes it very seriously, and it's a pretty good job. He makes a lot of money. So, you know, it depends on the person. For me though, I did not have any really clue what I wanted to do. I just kind of picked something because it was like, hey, like I was originally an art major because like, hey, I like drawing, so maybe I'll just be an art major. But those art classes were exhausting and I hated it, and it kind of ruined it for me. So I ended up changing it. And ultimately, I ended up being an English major because I discovered in college, I didn't know this before, I discovered that I really enjoyed creative writing. And, you know, I didn't know like what job I was going to get from it, but that's what I ended up studying. And you could argue like what I do now involves a lot of writing. So I don't know if I would have discovered that without trying out different things in college. Very open-ended question, but are you optimistic about the future in terms of the environment? Nope. We have done a ridiculously embarrassingly bad job of reacting to climate change, and it doesn't seem like our progress is doing very well on that. So it seems to me that we're just going to dilly-dally until it's just far too late. I mean, it's kind of already too late, but if we want things to be like remotely good, we have to like start now, and I don't think we're going to start now. So I guess we'll see what happens. And that's not even just being pessimistic. That just seems to be practically the case. I'm generally a hopeful and optimistic person, but it's hard to be optimistic when there's like no evidence of it. But you know, maybe there's some things I'm missing. I would love to hear what people are doing. I know that there are groups and organizations throughout the world who are working on this issue, and maybe they've made progress that I'm just unaware of. Nothing can ruin your love of art more than studying it. Yeah, I mean that applies to a lot of things. But the issue is, you know, I wanted to have a job in a field that I liked. So it's like I should study something that I like to do, that I like to do as a hobby, but it definitely can ruin it. And it did ruin it. I think playing D&D made me into writing. Yeah, I could see that. I think my love of writing is part of what made me start playing D&D. So I was kind of the opposite. I was going to be a businessman, but I became a hippie sociology major instead. I mean, sociology is legit, but business is also legit. I missed how the conversation about Hillary started, but I've definitely talked about Hillary a few times on my channel. I wasn't a fan of her as the candidate, but there's this idea that she was just as bad as Trump, which is like, what? How? There's no way. Like, I don't know, people say like Biden is just as bad as Trump or Hillary was just as bad as Trump. It's like, I don't, you and I just think about the world in completely different ways, because it's like not even really close. Have I found myself falling into a doomer mentality given current events? No, I'm generally pretty hopeful and optimistic about things, but I also try to look at the available evidence and what's going on in the world and try to be realistic. But overall, I'm hopeful and optimistic, especially about my personal interactions. But yeah, no, I'm the opposite of a doomer overall. But sometimes I feel like there's just overwhelming evidence of a negative outcome. Yeah, I've heard of the Hodge twins. I used to watch them a lot, but then they like randomly became like Republican. I don't know. I was gonna say shills, but that's kind of rude. I don't know if they're shills, but yeah, they just started like just saying like really like bullshit right wing talking points that just became their their content, and it's like, what the hell? About to go to sleep. So as a good Brazilian, I gotta ask, how do you feel about Brazil? I don't know anything about Brazil, to be honest. I've never been there. I don't think I've ever met someone from Brazil. And I don't know that much about what's going on in Brazil. So I'm sorry, but I just don't know. But I don't know. It seems fine. I've at least people that I have heard of that are from Brazil, that seems fine. I don't know what the political situation is in Brazil, but just the idea of Brazil seems fine in my head. Extremely bad politically. Yeah, I was thinking that there was a bad political situation, but I didn't want to say it if it wasn't true. Yeah, I'm embarrassingly ignorant of a lot of foreign politics. I should be a lot better than that. I don't like foreign politics and foreign policy in general, and international relations is one. It's like the thing. It's like the political thing that I am the least knowledgeable about. I should know more about it, but even if I did know more about it, I would probably hesitate to comment on it, because I think all that stuff is just like very complicated, and like maybe too complicated for me or most people to really understand or have a real view on that's worth hearing. But yeah, I don't know. I generally have love for um, like Central America and South America, just because I have um, a Latin side of my family, so I just kind of have like a natural bias towards that. You should have a podcast. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing a podcast. I need to. I'm in this weird place in my career where I'm doing well enough to support myself, but not well enough to like quickly like expand the operation outside of myself. Um like there's a lot of things that I want to do, but it's a lot of work. So I need help. I need like to hire like editors and shit. However, I don't make enough money to pay someone a wage that I would consider fair, or not, maybe not wage, that's the wrong word, but like a commission or whatever. Um, so it's like a weird middle point to be into. I feel like what's going to happen is I'm just going to have to invest and lose money on it for a while until it actually like grows. But I would like to have a podcast. Um, it might have to be just something very basic for now. Um, and infrequent, like maybe once a month or something. Just because the workload, because I'm already like I've already increased my workload because I'm trying to do more videos per month. I've talked to my brothers about helping me out. I think my brother might help me with some editing. Um, but there's a lot of stuff that I would love to do if I could get help with it, you know. Growing up, did you feel free to openly develop opinions about issues, or did you feel trapped as if you had to align with your parents' ideals? I never had the sensation of being trapped or anything like that. My parents were usually they're pretty encouraging of me and my brothers to learn and express ourselves and be unique and stuff like that. Overall, I think that my parents allowed for that in a pretty good way. The only problem was when me being open-minded about things and thinking critically about things resulted in me uh, becoming an atheist. I don't think that my mom liked that aspect of it. Wendover Productions has videos about foreign politics that makes it easy to get interested in major geopolitical situations. I'll check it out. I've watched a couple of Wendover stuff. It's just you have to be careful with that stuff because that's just one perspective, and you could have your view tainted by this one perspective that may not be completely unbiased. If I do one, please do not do it over Skype. A podcast? No, I probably wouldn't do that. I hate Skype. If I did one, I would. If for example, if I did one with another person online, I would probably record it on something like Discord or something. But I would make them record a high quality version of what they were saying. So then I could just like edit it in later. Would I go on Sam Harris show to discuss any topics? I mean, possibly. I would not go on the show to debate him. I don't really have an interest in debating people, but I'd probably have a discussion about something. But that's the thing about podcasts. Not everybody has the availability of good equipment or editing So sometimes all you can do is just get on your headset and talk to your friend on Discord. I encourage anybody, like, I don't want the quality or the production value of content to discourage people from making content. So I don't really have a problem with that. But I think there's just a standard that I personally would want to meet. Like, I wouldn't want like shitty audio in my podcast. But I'm in a situation where I have solutions to that if needed. Just found your channel via a YouTube recommendation. Algorithm apparently got it right. I've been binging your stuff for a few days. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. The algorithm blesses me. What's up? What's up, SMH? It is. I'm probably going to end the stream in about 30 minutes, though. I do still have more work to do, and it is late. I did start pretty late, and I'm probably gonna eat something in a minute, but yeah. I feel like the stream went by really fast, though. That's kind of the cool thing about if the chat's pretty active and there's a decent number of people watching, you can kind of just, you like breathe through it, and the time, like, it's already been like 2 hours. It doesn't even feel like it. Normally, though, I would probably stream longer. In the past, my streams would be about 2 hours, but I think I'm going to start streaming a little longer these days. But probably not when I start this late. Like, it's 10:30 p.m. here. I remember, no bullshit, that guy is a trip. That's how I found your channel. Just found it today. Yeah, a lot of people have been finding me recently. But that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of been my career. Like, I'll get a nice little bump, or I'll have a video do well, and then that works out, and then I kind of slowly start growing again, where, you know, just kind of going, putting videos out, get a few subscribers, and then I'm good. And then every now and then, just randomly, an old video or a new video will just blow up. It just seems all over. It doesn't, there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like, I feel like most YouTube channels have some kind of consistency in terms of how they perform. Like, you get to a certain point where, you know, like, your video, no matter what it is, as long as it's up to par of your regular content, you'll probably get, you know, you'll probably get 10,000 views, or you'll probably get 1,000 views, or you'll probably get 50,000 views, or you'll probably get 500,000 views on average, you know. But my channel's all over the place. Like, one video will get like 300,000 views, and then another video will get like 9,000 views. And it's like, I don't know what to do. But it's fine. My video, I think my channel's doing well overall, and that's all I want. I just want people to see my stuff, really. That's kind of all I want, is just for people to see my videos. On YouTube, it's a bit weird because you can't really control who sees your videos. So the most that you can do is figure out what YouTube wants you to do and what makes you more likely to get into the algorithm, and just make really good content. So, you know, try to make titles that are clickable, make thumbnails that are clickable, that are enticing and clickable. Got to clickbait a little bit. I think that I feel like a lot of YouTubers and creators are really hesitant to clickbait. And it's like, you don't have to like be super obnoxious about it. You don't have to be like fucking put like just you know, big pair of tits on the thumbnail and type in all caps and, you know, lie about what the video is about. Like, you don't have to do all that, but you can just make it enticing, make it mysterious, make people just have to click on it. So it's stuff like that, and also just making really good content, so when they do click on it, they stay and watch. I think that's important too. We were talking about Michael Brooks earlier, but unfortunately I don't really have a lot to say about it. I just he seemed like a smart guy, seemed like a cool guy. I don't know. I only just found out about it literally earlier today, so or I guess did it happen today? But like 10 minutes before the stream started when I found out. I don't think they've specified exactly what happened to him. All right, Isabel, thank you for joining the stream. What turned me off from studying art/drawing? I don't know, when it turned into like work, and when there was like homework and stuff and all that, just made me not want to do it anymore. And I think that can happen with a lot of like hobbies and stuff. When you make it work or you make it study, it becomes not fun because it's not you doing it because you want to, it's you doing it because you have to. I think that's, but that could also just be me, because a lot of people are really good at doing stuff they don't want to do. And also a lot of people are good at maintaining passion in their work, even when it does become sort of tedious. But I think that's I think I could only survive in a non-traditional career. I need some control over my own pace, and it's actually, it's kind of hard for me to conceive of having a boss at this point. I mean, obviously I've had a boss before, but I don't think I could ever go back to having one. But like with YouTube, but at the same time, now that I work with sponsors a lot on YouTube, a lot of my videos do have deadlines, which has actually helped me. Like, it's helped me be more productive knowing that there's a deadline. But at the end of the day, I get to work at my own pace. There's no one like breathing down my neck, making sure I get it done. So I think that was the difference between that and like studying art. What's up? Something wrong. Empress Mermaid, thank you for the $5 super chat. A super chat to end the night. Thank you for such good content. Must go. No, I have an ocean to rule. Much love. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And honestly, I barely even draw anymore. Like it almost completely killed it for me. But I replaced it with other creative outlets like writing and eventually making videos. No important. Thank you for the $4.99. Did I hear about Michael Brooks? I did hear about Michael Brooks, only just recently, like 10 minutes before the stream. Very sad. Like I when I first saw it, I thought it was like maybe someone was joking or something. I was like, what? Why? How? Yeah, everyone should have a creative hobby, in my opinion, or everyone should make stuff. Everyone should express themselves in a way that involves them making something that didn't exist before. I feel like that's like one of the most fulfilling things, and I think it's a very important outlet for like your emotions. Like, it's like therapeutic almost. But yeah, for those that don't know, I stream every Monday and Friday, kind of at random times. I don't have any specific times. Like it's like 10:40 p.m. I don't always stream this late. Sometimes I stream earlier, but at least you know the days, Mondays and Fridays. Um, a lot of times it just depends on how busy I am or what time I wake up. But the best way to know for sure when I'm streaming is to click the notification bell on my channel, and it will pop up when I'm live. Another good way is also to join the Discord. Because I announce when I go live on the Discord. I think a lot of people probably are out of touch with their creative side. I think it's something that you do have to nurture, and it can go away. But I don't think a lot of people don't value it. But it's and I don't want to like generalize because of my own experiences, but I just cannot imagine just not expressing yourself creatively. And it doesn't have to be like, you know, traditional art. It doesn't have to be drawing, painting. I think it's, you know, you could cook, you could, you know, design cars, or you could be an engineer, you could 3D print stuff, you know, I think you could even argue that you could use sports to express yourself creatively. So, you know, there's a lot of ways that you could do it. But yeah, what was today's date? I know I just put out a video last week and it's actually doing pretty well, but I do plan to have another video coming out this week, probably before Friday, so that'll be the next time you see my face on this channel, is on my next video. But on Friday, we will be streaming again, most likely. There's like a 90% chance that that's going to happen, but you never know. That's kind of the beauty of being a YouTuber. No one's forcing me to do it, but I do want to do it. Any advice on how to fund recording equipment? How to fund it? Well, I don't know. You just have to save. I mean, do you have income? If you don't have income, I'm not sure what to tell you. You have to figure out a way to get some income. And there's various ways you can do that depending on what you already have available to you and what you're physically capable of doing. But in general, my theory of life is priorities. And you get to choose what you prioritize in life. Also, a lot of I feel like sometimes people overestimate how much things cost. I think that you can go a long way with not that much money, depending on what you're trying to do. But like I said, I think life is all about priorities and what you choose to prioritize in your life. So a lot of times people say like, oh, I can't afford that. Oh, I don't have time for that. And to me, what I hear when people say that is, that's not a priority for me. And it may not be, and it's fine. You get to choose what you prioritize. But if there's a thing that you really want to do, you have to make it a priority. And usually if you make something a priority, that means you have to lower the priority of something else. So you just have to decide what you care about the most. So, and I say that in terms of like, you know, buying stuff, for example, for me, and it can, like I said, you get to choose. like for me, I spend a lot of money on D&D. It's just because it's fun to me. It's like the most fun thing that I do. And it's kind of a frivolous hobby. It's not making me money, and it's not really like, I don't think it's, the money is like being invested and it's going to return. It's just something I blow money on, but I prioritize it. Like I could use that money for many other things that are probably more productive or whatever. But I've chosen to make D&D a priority in my life because I love it so much. And maybe not everybody else would do that, but that's what I've chosen to do. So if you want recording equipment, for example, you could say, I mean, assuming you have some kind of income, you could say, well, I really want this, so I'm going to prioritize this. So you say, I don't know, what, like maybe you want like, what's like recording equipment? Like just say you can't, let's say you want a camera. You say you want a decent camera. It costs $1,000. That may be way more money than you ever have at any given moment. Well, it's time to start saving. It's like, I really want this camera, so I'm gonna save $30 every month, and you just put it away, and then say, what how long would that take? 2 years? 1,000 times divided by 30 is 33. So yeah, that'll take 3 years if you only save $30 a month. You may decide to save more. You probably should save more, but I'm just saying, if you have like an income, like a lot of people will spend $30 a month on like, you know, takeout or cigarettes or something. So just as a very weird example, you say, I'm gonna save $30 a month. It's gonna take more, like a couple years, but in 3 years you'll have a camera 100%. Like you will 100% have it. So you could decide that you want it quicker, and then you'd have to make another concession. But I don't know, that's just my theory of life, really. It's all about priorities. And you know, for some people, you will not, or you can't prioritize the camera, and that's fine. But you just, as long as you acknowledge that that's what you're doing. Like we can't have everything at the top of our priority list at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. You have to choose, and you can choose at different times. Like some months I have to focus on, you know, very productive, very practical things. But then another month I might have a little more wiggle room where it's like, okay, like, you know, not too long ago I hung out with a friend that I haven't seen in a while, and we went and got some nice food, and we got some drinks and some other stuff, and I ended up spending maybe like $120 or something. That's a lot of money for like one night, but in that moment, on that day, it was a priority for me, and so I was okay with it. I was okay with my decision because I chose to prioritize that in that moment. So yeah, I think I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, like not really even answering the question I was asked, but I just wanted to share that because I really do believe that. And some things you have to prioritize. Don't get me wrong. Like Catherine, you mentioned bills. I mean, in very very extreme cases, you can't. But like for me, like I can't like not pay my rent if I want to continue living where I live. I have to pay the rent, you know. If I want the power, I have to pay. I have to pay it. I can't like choose not to. There may be there may be situations where some like I know more than one person that chose to be homeless on purpose, because they prioritize other things. I don't want to get too much in it, but like, so it can happen, but I don't want to do that. I prioritize having shelter and power and food and things like that. What if I want a 7407 jumbo jet airline? Well, if that's the thing that you actually want, I mean, it sounds like you're joking, obviously, but if that's the thing that you actually want, then you need to figure out how can you get that. Can you get that though? Is that something that is available to like regular people? Maybe it is. Clearly though, you're gonna need a shit ton of money in order to get a I assume you mean 747. But people have that much money, so you just have to figure out what you need to do in order to get that much money. It will probably take a long time. You have to be practical, unless you. It'll probably take like your entire life to build that much money if you don't already have it. But if you're willing to wait that long, then go for it, you know? It seems unlikely to me, to most people, that it would be worth it to prioritize that hard just to get a 747. But maybe. I don't know. I don't know you. And I know, like I said, I know it's like kind of a joke, but I'm serious. Like, this is how I view life. Like, just you need to figure out how to do the things that you want to do, and figure out how you can prioritize that and what you need to drop lower on the list so that you can pursue that thing. If that's what you really want to do. If it's not, like one of the simplest dichotomies is work-life balance. There are so many people who do jobs that they hate, for which I don't really understand why. Like, I understand like you need money, you need to survive and stuff, but people just refuse to like reevaluate their lives and figure out how they can make it better just because they found something that gets them through the day. But it's like, what if you could be happier, you know? But at the same time, there are people who have thought about it and have decided that they value the comfortable life or the ability to take care of their family more than they value their own happiness. Which to me, that doesn't make sense, but everyone's not me. Anyway, yeah. That's kind of it's my big rant, I guess. I guess it wasn't much of a rant, but that's kind of how I think about life. Maybe it's not the most. It could probably be a little more complicated than that, but I think that's just a very simple way to think about things. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get ready to get out of here, y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming to my stream. Shout outs to all of the new people. A lot of people are finding me lately. Hope you like what you see. This is what my stream is like sometimes. We're just chill. I mean, it's always chill, but we do this a lot where we just hang out and have conversations and Q&A and AMA and all that jazz. So if you like that, hit the notification bell, subscribe, all that junk, and we can get more than that. Or we can get more of that. But like I said, we're going to be doing other activities, maybe like going over news stories, I've like painted D&D miniatures, playing games. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff. It's a variety stream. Also, got a new video. I just released a new video last week. Check that out. It's called What Everyone Gets Wrong About Cancel Culture. It's doing pretty well. People seem to like it. And then I've got another video coming out soon, so look out for that. Please check out the description of the video for all my links and things like that. I think everything that you might want to know should be down there. And yeah, I think I'm finally getting my stream. I've been like readjusting how the stream looks and stuff, and I feel like it kind of looks like a real stream now. So also, obviously, thanks to everyone who left a super chat. You guys are the best. But I guess that's it. I'll see y'all. You will see my face again sometime this week, but definitely I will be streaming again on Friday. And feel free to email me or you know, hit me up on Curious Cat or Twitter or something if you wanna chat, or Discord. Join the Discord, y'all. theonejanitor.com/Discord. Anyway, I will see y'all next time. Bye bye.